Everyone's road to success has ingredients which are very different from everybody else's journey to success. So, no matter how often you may like to get into Google or whatever and start searching for what are the secrets to success, there is no way you will actually discover the real secrets that people have, which they actually use to get to their levels of success. Now, I know you and many people like you who are on the path to fructifying their dreams would love to know what are those elements, those ingredients, those amazing things that successful people did to become successful. Now, I have traversed a journey all the way from the foothills of the mountain to the summit, and I have, like a lot of people, our own little secrets of success. Would you like to know what my secret is? Well then, let's traverse. Welcome back to the musings of an old maverick. Welcome back to the archives of my life. And today I am going to share with you my secret to my success as a professional. Right from a magic trainee all the way up to a chief executive officer of a large multi-crore research and educational center. One of the world's largest, in fact. Now, what was my secret? What was that little secret of mine which took me all the way from an executive to the top-notch job? Well, when I was a young executive, almost four decades ago, I happened to walk into the CEO's office. Thankfully, he wasn't there. And I happened to see his cabin. And I was absolutely amazed at how luxuriously it was appointed. Mahogany table, amazing swivel chairs, a library, an air conditioner. Those days, it was a luxury. Beautiful matching curtains, and I said, my God, I would love to end up as a CEO one day. Because this beautifully appointed cabin was nothing compared to that small little desk I used to sit on. Dull, droopy, and dry. So then I started my research. I started asking people, my colleagues, people in the organization, what does it take to become a CEO? And they said, well, you got to work very hard. You got to work really very hard. And I would ask myself, work hard? I'd be looking at the HR personnel, the accounts personnel, the finance personnel, the department. I was in sales. I'd see the marketing guys. I'd see the PR chaps. And I'd realize that, well, they're all working hard, but what's so big deal about them working hard in terms of them becoming short cases for tomorrow's CEOs? And as I continued my research, I realized that I would have to do something really, really extraordinary if I had to be singled out as a future candidate to become a CEO. Right? Now, that was pretty immature thinking when I was young, but it took a crisis in the organization to help me blunder actually into the secret. There was once a very major crisis, and this crisis threatened to probably close the organization down in about a month's time. I discovered then there were three categories of people in the organization. One category was those who were rats, just like a ship when it's about to sink. The first things that jump off the ship are rats. And they were doing that in the name of, well, job security. I have commitments, I have a family, I've got to take care of this, I've got to take care of that. And they became highly unproductive the moment the crisis started, for the simple reason that they were spending all their time looking for jobs. The second category were a category of thinkers. Thinkers who kept on conjuring up theories on why the company is going through this, what were the mistakes it has made, and what it should have done, what it should be doing, and eventually they moved into what I called an amazing disease, the paralysis of analysis. Because they spent all their time analyzing but doing nothing and going nowhere. Now, there was this third segment, this third category, which got me absolutely excited. They were the doers. They were the crisis managing guys. They were that small little group who believed, who had so much faith in the organization that they believed they could turn this organization around once again. And they moved like dogs of war. And it was really this particular group that finally pulled the organization out. And it is this particular group that I said I would love to emulate. And from that day onwards, I was always involved in crisis management. So every point of time, whenever there would be a crisis, I'd be the first one to get into with the team, and we would literally sledgehammer the crisis and pull out of it. Now, one day, 3.5 decades later, I found myself sitting in this well-appointed room as a CEO of a large multinational setup. And that's the time I started reflecting. Because, well, I've reached the summit. And guess what? I realized that that one step that I took so early in my career to actually take on crisis as a portfolio and being part of a team that can actually become, like I said, dogs of war, was what actually paid off. What was actually the reason why I was chosen eventually in my career as a CEO. Because I was always managing crisis. And when I sat and reflected that day, I realized there were 3 major assets that I got honed into. The first important asset was I developed a laser sharp focus on everything. Because when you're handling a crisis, your awareness, your focus has to be so laser sharp that you don't leave any room for failures. So that was one great asset I picked up. The second one was strategic planning. It's so important to be a good strategic planner when you are into corporate governance. And it was just a natural outcome of being part of a crisis management group that your strategic planning is almost faultless. Because 2 reasons. You have lived in crises and you know what sort of strategic plan would be the best for the organization to avoid any kind of crisis. And let's say a crisis would possibly happen, that's okay, because you would come up immediately with razor sharp focused plans to handle those failures. The third one, most important, I had become a powerhouse of positivity. Because let me tell you, when you're in crisis management, you actually stake a lot of your own personal reputation at the hands of people who at a drop of a hat can criticize you. When you're in crisis management, whether you fail or succeed, that is never the issue. The issue is you gotta get out, you gotta take the situation out of a crisis. Oh yes, we fail, but we also do succeed. And it's those successes, the little milestones that keep chalking up one after the other that finally takes you to your summit. So, while I was reflecting, I must share this with you. While I was reflecting, and I was so happy that I made that decision 4 decades ago, I happened to look out of the window and I saw a billboard of Nike. And I saw that tagline which said, "Just do it." And that moment, just those 3 words, "just do it," made such a huge impression on me, because it was a reflection of everything that I was. Just do it. Celebrate the doing. Don't celebrate the winning. Just celebrate the doing. Winning, losing, that's all part of life. But unless you don't do it, there's no question of either winning or losing. This is Anand, Nair, signing off for now. And I'm going to see you soon, very, very soon, with another Musings of an Old Maverick. I hope you enjoyed this one. Yes, of course. Do let me know what you think. I would love to hear your views. Ciao for now. You take care.